Hello, everyone. Hello, happy Wednesday, I think it is. So thanks for being on time, y'all. We're going to get ahead and get started with day 2 of Together We Shift. So first off, we're also streaming this on Facebook Live. If you're on that side, feel free to join us on here. The website's pretty easy. It's togetherweshift.obv.io. And again, joining us on this side, if you're watching this on replay, as many of our folks have for day 1.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. We know that this usually happens during working time, so we appreciate you being here, being live and in person. So say hello, Sherry, Debbie, Christina, Rita, and Leslie, okay? And Christina, if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on mute real quick, and we'll get the show on the road. Let's see, actually, one second.
Maybe not. So how are we feeling today? Are we good? It's not quite as sunny in Colorado. Where's everybody? So Sherry's here. Drop us in the comment, you guys. Where do you guys live? Where do you live? Oh, I can't read. Ohio. Can you make the chat bigger? Oh, that's I have to do it. Guys, technology. So you will laugh. It's not our fancy. There we go. Ohio, New Jersey. How was your pie? Anybody else have pie yesterday?
So I had an event last night, and so I didn't want to do like a traditional pie because I didn't want to end up with like 10 cherry pies. So I ended up getting like a cheesecake pie kind of thing.
See, I would eat that. I would eat cheesecake pie.
Okay. And then I went to the baker and I said, can you draw this thing on the pie? And it was a pie symbol. And she actually didn't think I was crazy.
Oh, yeah,
she didn't. She actually thought like that was okay. And so like I appreciated not feeling so alone.
Right.
You know, sometimes do you guys ever, or do y'all ever feel like you have a crazy thought in your head and you're like, I'm the only one who feels this way. And if I were to share this.
We're going to talk a lot about that today. That's just a forecasting.
Yeah. So if any of y'all have felt that way, know that you're not alone. And the baker helped me feel not alone yesterday. So that I appreciated that. So as we join in today, and whether it's Facebook Live or here on the chat, it's been about 24 hours since we all first connected. And I think one of the things I'd love to hear is, how's it going? So, you know, are we way off cue or are we right on the mark? So in other words, what has been your biggest aha over the last 24 hours? So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, did you do your purpose or did you work on your vision? And if you did, what was your outcome? Like, did it feel amazing? Were you like, man, I don't know what my vision is? I think a lot, you guys, when we talk to people, it's like, well, what do you want to have happen in your life?
Right.
And it's crazy. We're like, I don't know. Like, I'm just doing life. And we forget to slow down and go, do I want?
Right. You know, and I think one of the main questions that I like to ask women is, what do you like to do for fun? And I think maybe the later we get on in life and we have like career demands, we have kiddo demands, we have doggy demands, right? We've got all these different demands. The more we lose focus on that question. I mean, would you all agree on that? Okay. Probably were to ask you, like, as a 16-year-old woman, what do you like to do for fun? I know for me, I wanted to hang out with friends. I wanted to go to the movies. Let's go to the park. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Now these days, I'm like, I don't know, hang out with my kids. No, there's more to it than that. But a lot of us, our identities sometimes just get lost in the fact that we're just givers. We're the mom, we're the career woman, we're all these things. And so my favorite question to ask women is, what do you like to do for fun? Because I think it kind of recenters us to the fact that, like, we also have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, you don't want to be like, gosh, I really wished I would have worked more, right?
So no, most of us don't say that when we're like, when the day's over.
When life is over. So just in the chat, you guys. So Leslie said, and thank you for sharing this, I've decided I'm really mean to me. Anybody else feel that way? Man, why am I so mean to myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we, again, like I mentioned yesterday, we're so much kinder usually to our own best friends.
Yeah.
Like we would never look, at another woman that we know and love and look at her and say, yo, like this thing about your body, that's not cool. Or like, and yeah, Sally, what's going on with you? Or like, yeah, we don't usually lead like that with other people, but we so often do with ourselves. So what else? Go ahead and drop it in the chat.
But also tell us, what do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, what do you like to do for fun?
Jen, what do you do for fun? All right, it's actually going to get warm.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun, Jen?
So I'm a big Orange Theory person. So for anybody who's met me a part of that community, I do like to work out. I mentioned yesterday, there was a community of people who really showed up for me, and that's them. And it's mostly because I showed up for them. And then the more I realized I was showing up for them, I was like, oh, I'm also pretty cool. And that's okay. So, yeah, what do you like to do for fun?
So soccer and snowmobiling, which are the things I did when I was a kid. So we have little kids. I started coaching them when they were 5 and 3.
Yeah.
So they still play. So this is the most fun thing that's happened in the last 3 months. Carson, my oldest daughter, her soccer team, all of the parents, we got together and now we're playing indoor soccer together. And
how's that going?
Good. All the games. So we have like half of the people have played and like half have literally never touched a soccer ball.
Okay.
And we had like 19 people. There's 5
Wow.
on the field at once. So we now have second season coming and it's slimmed down to the people that really want to play.
Okay.
But super fun. And I would live and die on my snowmobile if I could. Haven't been for 2 years.
Yeah. And this Floridian wants nothing to do with the snow. So you can keep it all. Let's see, Leslie, I like to cook and bake. That's amazing. I love people who like, because I like to eat.
Make a pie.
I like to eat. So cooking and baking is great. Still love hanging out with friends and having something to look forward to. Sherry, thank you for sharing that. Cool. So let's recenter a little bit back on where we were yesterday and we left off.
Yep.
Regarding purpose.
Yep.
Okay. And there were many of you who did share in the chat what your purpose was. And I'm just going to read a couple of them because I thought they were pretty impactful. So Sherry, do you mind if I read yours?
I think she said sure. I think you froze while you tried to answer.
Okay. So let's see. For Sherry, we had to come on here. My purpose is to feel healthy because I want more energy. And if I have more energy, then I'll also have more motivation. So I can take those daily walks with your 2 amazing dogs because I'm important and I deserve to have all the feels.
Yes, all the feels, those are my favorite.
That's amazing. So thank you, Sherry, for sharing that. Rita, I think you're on here. Would you drop something in the chat if you're okay with me sharing? Golf. Rita likes to golf. That's amazing. You don't want me to have a golf stick. What are they called? Oh, a club. They're called a club. You don't want me to have one of those things. Rita.
It's a story.
Yeah.
Yes, we can share. Okay.
Awesome. Rita said to be healthy. Why? Because I want better control of my autoimmune disease. Why is that important? I want to age gracefully and not have restrictions in movement as I age. And why is that important? To make sure that my heart and lungs get healthier. And why is that important? Because I want to live a long, fulfilled life.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So good.
We currently have a client actually who her big why, when you boil down to at the end of the day, is she did not want to be a burden on her own kids. So when she looked back on it, the reason she wanted to show up this way and she wanted to, why all this was important was because she did not want to be her mother-in-law. I mean, think about the power in that. Okay. Probably when it first started, she wasn't like, I don't want to be my mother-in-law. She was probably like, I want to lose 30 pounds. And why do you want to lose 30 pounds? Because they'll make me, move easier. And then why do you want to move? Oh yeah, my mother-in-law, I've been taking care of her for a few years and I don't want to do that to my kids. So that is the purpose, y'all, that's going to continue to ground you there. So from everybody who participated yesterday, and again, if you're on here, feel free to turn on your cameras, engage with us, let us know that you're here and that you're like a real human being. That'd be amazing. But I am going to select one lucky person and then actually do the honors, Courtney.
Let's close my eyes. I don't know, I think they're stuck together. Is this one or more than one? All
right.
They're stuck.
There you go. I got 2 in my hand. Who do you want?
They're sticky notes. Rita, you are the winner.
Awesome. Rita, you are the winner. We have a little workout towel for you, and also a little bit of a headband that says shift happens, because life happens, and so do shifts. So amazing. Thank you all for showing up today. I want you to take a quick moment and give yourself a pat on the back. Like literally, do it.
Are we flexible? I'm not very flexible.
Okay.
I'll help Jen.
And the reason why is because you showed up today. And I know a lot of people who have started things in their life, who have said, I will commit. And maybe they took the first step, but they didn't follow through. And so what you ladies have all done today is you've done just that. You followed it up with showing up for day 2, which honestly, today is the best day.
It is. It's
I mean, day 3, it's pretty cold too, but day 2, there's a lot of magic in day 2. So we're really excited about having you here today to launch day 2. I did want to share a couple things.
She just said action, not motion. She's going to take Leslie.
Oh, Leslie, did you, I know you've watched a few of my content. Did you watch watch my reels and the podcast?
I saw the tickety talk video with the rocking chair, and it brought me joy.
Oh, I'm going to talk about that today. This is awesome.
Excellent.
Leslie, you are already applying the things that really are going to get you to live your happiest and healthiest life. Like, you have made my heart happy right now. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I do have a rocking chair in my house that I don't ever use. So I'm glad I could use it for a reel. But with that being said, I wanted to share something with you that I hope really is something to help you understand why Courtney and I do this. So most of you heard my story yesterday. By the age of 8, I really had 3 defeating factors in my life, and the way I coped was through food. And unfortunately, that led to me gaining a lot of weight, which then also led to a lot of bullying, which then also led to my self-confidence and my self-love just vanishing, essentially. I felt like it slipped through my fingers in a way. And so when Courtney and I met 14 months ago, and I was on this path to, having whatever career it is that I had signed up for, right? A career in HR, actually. So I've been helping people, coaching people, consulting with people for about 14 years. I thought this is what I want to do. And the reason why is because I refuse if I can be the deciding factor, I refuse for any other woman in the entire world, wherever you may live, whether it's the UK, I know that's where Sally's from, or Canada, where Karen's at, or anywhere else, for you to ever have to walk the journey alone of the defeat of the diet industry. I got beat down for way too long for me not to feel passionate enough about the fact that we help women shift to the better physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual sense of them. And so I do this for my passion. I do this because I am sick and tired of the defeating diet industry. I do this because each and every one of you is worth it. So at the end of the day, regardless of where our path may lead us, I want you to let you know that you are worth it. You are powerful and you don't deserve the shenanigans anymore. So let's shift from them. One of the things I've also heard is, Jen, what is the magic formula to shift? So listen, y'all, we've been coaching clients, over 165 of them over the last 14 months. We have a program that works. We have a program that involves nutrition and movement, but 95% of the work that we do is emotional and mental to help you get unstuck from all the identities and stories and thoughts that don't serve you and help you shift to a better you. We have a proprietary program that belongs to us and has our brand on it. So to let you know, this is not fluff, y'all. This is not just Courtney and I deciding that we have nothing better to do on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There is actually a structure to the madness, and we have helped hundreds of clients do just that in 14 months. We're actually going to have a client join us a little later today, Danielle, to share a little bit about her story. But that is what I have to get us started today. What do you have?
I have the best day ever. So we're going to talk to you guys all about how do we take what we started to see yesterday, right? Like we saw yesterday, okay, this is what the diet industry has told me. Well, now what? You're like, well, great. That's great, Courtney. But now what do I do with this? Okay. So today we're going to really talk about how to do this. So grab your workbook, Hopefully you have your workbook. I'm not going to knock that table over. All right, guys. So if you have this, we're going to talk about the 4 steps. Okay. So we're all about numbers. No, not really. I hate numbers. I'm not a math person. Yeah, Dad likes numbers. I don't really like numbers. Okay. So yesterday we had our circles. I'm not going to redraw them, but you can imagine, right? So we had physical. All right. So we have physical, we have mental, and we have emotional. Okay. So physical, mental, okay, and emotional. And then here inside the circle, it's bigger today. That's the better version of you, right? So the better version of you. So what I like to think about, you guys, is like, okay, if I have, so I picture highest self like above me, and then things are in alignment. Okay. But if I'm like, okay, I have a vision now, this is my vision, this is where I'm going. If I don't know where I'm starting, how am I going to get there? Right? It's that whole like map analogy. If I talk to my Waze and I say, hey, take me downtown, Waze is like, cool, from where? Okay. But the from where is sometimes the piece that we fail to look at, right? If we don't know where we're going and where we are, we don't know how to get there. Okay. So what we need to know is this is where I am currently. Okay. I know I made that an A, but this is where I am. And this is where I'm going. Okay. But so often, you guys, like we just talked about, you know, we have so much life going on, right? We've got kids, we've got families, we've got jobs, we've got like so many things. And I think I actually had a thought yesterday. So we just moved our physical gym, and I left the old location yesterday for the last time. And we have been there. Yeah, it was a rough day. We have been there for 13 years in that building. So I met my husband. We opened our gym 4 months later. And that was almost 13 years ago. And so there's been a lot that's happened in that building, right? Like we got engaged, not in the building, but in that time that we've been in that space. And like, it doesn't look like the building anymore because it's just a shell, right? And so, but I walked in and I had this sort of just like feeling. And I like tried to compose myself. And then he walked in, and like, we're terrible if we look at each other, then we both cry. So then we're both crying, and you know, we had the thing, right? And I literally, like, I looked at my watch and I was like, we got to get home because I got to unload the stuff that's in my car before I go get our kids from school. And I actually had the thought, I was like, thank God I'm busy enough that I don't have time to really sit in this, which is really not the right answer, right? Like I needed to sit in that, but it was like, we are so busy that most of the time, because we don't even have time to realize, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? What's going through our heads? Like, what are we doing? And so what we want to start with, you guys, is that if we need to know where we are, how do we figure out where we are? Okay. So the first step is awareness, right? And it sounds kind of simple. Like I just have to be aware of my life. But when it really boils down, you guys, so many of us, because life is so busy and we have like, I should look up the number. I don't know the number, how many millions of thoughts we have that are on repeat every day, right? We have the same thoughts over and over and over again, some conscious and a lot subconscious. Okay. So when we talk about awareness, it's not just what am I doing every day, right? We probably have a similar routine. We get up, we go to work, we take our kids to school, we drop them off, we pick them up, we go to soccer. That's my life. Okay. But it's not necessarily just what we're doing, but it's in those times. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? How am I acting? What am I saying to myself? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys one of my favorite things. And this is not on this workbook. It's actually at the very end because we're also going to talk about it tomorrow. But if you go to the last page of your workbook, it's called Bitfar. Okay. And you guys, Bitfar, if you will lean into this, will change your life.
We have a workbook today?
Do we have workbooks? Hold them up. Hold up your workbooks. Where did I put the pen?
Yeah, right, there you go.
I'm going to match myself today. Can you guys see the blue? Does it show up? Okay. All right. Good job. All right. I'm going to do this so I'm not sideways. All right. So Bitfar is an acronym. Okay. So the B stands for beliefs. Okay. The T is thoughts. The F is feelings. The A is action. And the R is results. Okay. One more time for the people in the back. Beliefs, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. Okay. So most of us, when we think about wanting to make a change, we start here. What is the result? The pen's going to die. What is the result? What is the outcome that I desire? Okay. That's a great place to start, right? We had you guys do vision yesterday. Where do you want to go? What's the outcome, right? Vision to me is a little bit broader, but we need to know where we want to go. Okay. So like, okay, I want this result. Then what do? We're like, okay, if I want to get there, I have a plan. I start taking action. Okay. Not motion. We just talked about that. The difference between motion and action is like motion is thinking about getting into action. Action is actually doing the steps. Okay. So it's awesome. So we get into action. We're like, sweet, this is gonna work. Every diet you've ever done, you probably looked at the result you wanted. You started taking action. I'm going to cut out all the things, right? I'm going to take out carbs. I'm going to move my body 15 times a day. It's got to be for 2 hours. I have to burn 800 calories, whatever that is, right? We start taking action. And we talked about it yesterday. It works for a short amount of time. And why? Not because you don't have willpower, not because you're self-sabotaging, but because of this. This is the key to shifting who you are, how you show up, and what you do in life. Okay? Because what happens? So drop me in the comments, you guys. Give me, when I say the word diet, you're going to start a diet. Insert whatever you want. Keto, paleo, whatever that is.
Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers. So if I say you're going to start Weight Watchers tomorrow, tell me in the comments what thoughts or feelings show up for you. What thoughts or feelings that show up? Say, tomorrow you have to start Weight Watchers and you're going to do it for 90 days. What restriction? Ugh, no fun. Yep. What else? Restriction, no fun.
I think about all the social outings I'm gonna have to cancel.
Right? Yep. Suffering, restriction, need to get stuff in today. Yes, yes. I gotta get it in today. Right? Guys, all of those feelings are fear, right? Those are feelings of fear, of I don't want to do this, of whatever. And then if you think about this logically for a second, you're like, wait, I just chose this. I want this result. So I need to take this action. And then someone told us in here that it has to be hard, right? So what happens is we're like, all right, I'm going to do the thing. We talk ourselves up, we get in all the food, and we're like, I can do this. I'm strong. I'm tough. I can do hard things, whatever it is we tell ourselves. So then we start taking action. And we might even get results. Like when we were doing 6-week challenges at our gym, we got people crazy good results. But at the end of it, or in the middle of it, or somewhere along the line, what's the average? We talked about this the last seminar because it was right after New Year's. It's like the quit day for your New Year's resolution. The 10 days into whatever resolution people have, there's a quit day, which is comical, right? And so it's like, okay, why do they quit? Why do we quit? Has anybody ever started a diet and then been like, I don't want to do this? Everybody probably, right? We're like, why don't we want to do this? Well, the reason we don't want to do this is that we start having these feelings. Oh, this sucks. I feel restricted. I can't go hang out with my friends. Like our whole energy just sort of depletes. Like when we say the word diet, I think all of us just like, we're just like, right? Nobody wants to do that. So we start having these feelings of, this is no fun. I don't want to do it. Why do I have to do this? I'm suffering. I'm restricted, right? Nobody wants to feel any of those ways. We don't feel abundant. We don't feel joyful. We don't feel excited, right? And so you start having these feelings. And then what are some of the thoughts that you guys start to have? What are some of the thoughts? You start to have these feelings of, I don't want to do this. I'm suffering. This stinks. What kind of thoughts come with those feelings? And they're similar, but I have to weigh myself, count all my foods, rabbit food. Yes, it is worth it. Okay.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Not worth it. Yeah. Yep. You're like, I don't want to do this. This is no fun. I want to have a life. Failure. Yep. Am I even seeing any results? I'm failing. Okay. Are any of these words empowering? Are any of these feelings empowering? I know that I used to be like, because I would start to be like, you know what? I want to have a life. I want to enjoy a glass of wine with my husband. I was going to say with my family. My kids do not drink yet. My kids do not drink. Let's just be clear. But it was like, I want to have a life. I want to feel like I can have fun. I want to whatever. And so we start having these thoughts like, this is no fun. This sucks. I'm not even getting results. And then we're like, whatever, I'm going to quit. Right? Does anybody ever feel like that? I don't like to restrict myself. Right? Nobody likes how you feel on a diet. You feel sad. You feel restricted. Right? So for me, guys, we talked about this fear and vision, right? Fear pushes us until vision pulls us. But so many of us have lived in a life of fear. Dieting is fear. I'll say that like 9 times a day, every day. Dieting is fear. It's not trusting ourselves. It's not believing that we can live and act and be the way we want to be. So we start having these feelings. that are all lower. So energy, okay, let's stop. I'm going to go woo-woo for a second. Energy is everything, and everything is energy. Okay. Energy is everything, and everything is energy. So if we have higher vibrating emotions, joy, happiness, excitement, fun, all of those things, we feel like this. We like get taller, right? We have lower vibrating emotions, restriction, fear, sadness, not worthy, etc. Okay. So if we're doing this, we really want this result. Like we really do want it. We talked about why we think we want it, but then we start having all of these emotions they're down here, right? Well, what kind of life are you going to attract to yourself if all of your energy is negative, right? You ever met somebody that like has been on a diet, or they've been on like Whole30 and it's day like 22 and they just hate their life and they're like, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to move my body. Like I've been there. Get to talk to them on day 29 and they're starting to be happy again because they know it's over. But like day 1 they're happy, day 30 they're happy, everywhere in between they're like, this is terrible. You don't want to be around them. So if you spend all your time in this energy, right, where essentially subconsciously you're telling yourself you're not worth it. I'm not worth eating. I'm not worth enjoying my life. I'm not worth being happy, right? Because I have to sacrifice those things if I want this, okay? So eventually this leads to a belief. What kind of beliefs do you guys have about diets? When you start a diet, let's say you started a diet in the past, what kind of beliefs do you think you had about the diet and the outcome you were going to get? This might be a little bit harder, but if you can go that far, our thoughts and our feelings lead to a belief. Well, they go the other way, but what kind of beliefs did you have?
When you fail at the diet?
Yeah, or when you start it, when you fail or when you start, either way. So I'll let you guys put these in, but we had a client that joined us last January, and I was having a conversation with her, and I was like, every diet you started in the past, did you believe it would work? And she goes, no, if none of them have ever worked in the past, why would this one be different? Like, this probably isn't going to work, but what else do I do? Right? There's no other option. If I want this, I got to do all these terrible things, and then I'm going to hope this works. Right? And then we stopped the diet because it was no fun and we had no life and we lived in this energy and no one wants to live down there. And then what do we start to believe? I'm a failure. I'm not worth it. My body's never going to change. There's no answer. I got bad genes. I have bad hormones. I'm too old, right?
I will do better this time.
I will do better this time. I think we've all said that a time or so. This time, I'm really motivated. I really
it also comes from a sense of I've done bad, and I have done bad. I must do bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I really want this. I can do better. Right. We're all really strong, powerful women. Like, why can't I stick to the stupid diet? Oh, because it's the stupid diet. Okay. So does this make sense for you guys? You could spend days in your life looking at things that you've done, not just dieting, but everything we do in our life boils down to, what do we believe? Those beliefs create stories, they create identities. Okay, we can't go into that today, but with every belief and every story and every identity, we all had it, right? I think I shared yesterday that my identity was I had hippo hips, right? Jen had an identity, she wasn't an athlete. Okay, you guys all think about this. What are your identities? What stories did you create as a kid that aren't even true? Those beliefs, those stories, those identities, they literally shape how you do everything. Okay, and those beliefs are in, what's the word I'm looking for? Alignment. I'm gonna say conjunction, they're not. Whatever you believe, you will start to have congruent thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. So for most of us, we start here and we can start strong and we don't look at these three and then we end up back where we were. Okay, does that make sense for you guys? Yeah, high fives? High fives. Okay. Right. Yes. All right. I got high fives. All right.
The other statistic we're going to hear about recently is 70% of what I become, like what I believe, my stories are inherited by the age of 7.
7. Yeah.
So are those stories mine or do they belong to someone else?
Not usually yours.
Not usually mine, right? So,
all right. I'm going to give you guys the magic. magic.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you the magic. Okay. So inside of our program, the 3 questions that all of our clients get really good at asking them, and we're going to talk about questions in a second. I'm gonna give it to you now, and then we're gonna talk about questions. Is this real? Is this mine? I like it, you guys are taking notes. Is this true? So if I look back at 13-year-old me,
Is this real? Is this mine? Is this true?
is it real that I had hippo hips? Nope. Is it mine? Nope. It was my brother who was kidding, right? Is this real? Is this mine? And is this true? Did I have hip hips? No, I weighed 80 pounds. But I created the story and the belief that it was true. So you know what? The more I thought it, the more I believed it. And then it was true, right? It doesn't matter what the truth is. It matters what you believe the truth to be. Okay. So think about that as we go through this is like, what do I believe? And beliefs are kind of hard because most of the time we don't know that we created them. And like Jen said, under 7 is when most of these stories and beliefs came about, because at that age, we didn't have the tools to understand what was actually happening. Somebody was mean to us and we created a story that I'm not good enough, right? My story. So when I got deep into this, my belief was that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy. And I'll tell you guys, 99% of women in this world have some kind of worthiness wound. We've been told we're not good enough unless we do whatever. I have to be XYZ to be good enough. So for me, the story I created was I have a really smart brother, like valedictorian smart. And so I believed he was always going to be smarter than me, and had a really pretty best friend who I'm still friends with 40 years later. And I was like, she's always going to be prettier than me. So in my head, I was always going to be second. So I all of a sudden started these perfectionist tendencies to try to feel good enough. That's where all of my eating disorder came from. And my mom is funny. She's like, I'm sorry. I swear we didn't try to do that to you. I'm like, you didn't. I did. I created those stories where I knew what was happening. Okay. So when we talk about awareness, we'll go back to the sheet. Yeah. Yeah, it is like, right. I mean, it's, and when you start to like, when I realized that, I was like, damn, like, why? I was 13. I didn't know what was going on. Right. And for 13 to 40, that story stayed with me. Those feelings stayed with me. And then when I really looked back, I was like, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but like, I was kind of a popular kid. I had fun. I was an athlete. Like my life was actually pretty good. And I look at my brother's life, who I had convinced he was always being better than me. He was really antisocial. He didn't fit in with kids. Like, I'm sure he never thought like my life is way better than my sister's, right? But in my point of view, like grades matter. Okay. So I'm going to take this back to your sheet. That was a long description. But when we talk about awareness, what are we trying to be aware of? Okay. So we want to be aware of, well, where am I trying to go? What actions am I taking? What actions have I taken in the past that served me and didn't serve me? Because we've probably all done things in our life that did actually serve us, that got us somewhere, that like got us to where we are in life. But more importantly, you guys, what feelings am I having, right? When I say the word diet, you got to go on Weight Watchers tomorrow. Do you feel a pit in your stomach? Like, where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your heart? Like, did your heart, like my heart actually started beating like more, like, oh God, like, did your heart beat faster? Do you feel this like gut, like drop in your gut? Do you feel like you want to throw up? Like what feelings do you have? Okay. When you look in the mirror in the morning, what kind of feelings do you have? Because the thoughts and the feelings, we're talking about feedback loops yet tomorrow, but the thoughts and the feelings, like they just start making these correlations and they turn it into a belief, right? So when we talk about awareness, language is huge. Okay. If you want to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling, listen to what you're saying out loud or to yourself. Language is huge. Okay. Are you saying, I have to go to the gym? I have to eat broccoli. I have to whatever, or I get to, right? There's a big difference. Have to and I get to. I can't, or the word but, right? Well, I love you, but. Okay. What if you turned your but into an and? I love you and. I get to go to the gym and I get to enjoy nutritious food versus I have to work out so I don't hate my body and have to eat rabbit food and have to stick to this diet and it has to be hard, right? So
the word should.
We always say
shoulding all over yourself.
Stop shoulding all over yourself, right? So think about your language. And then like as women, very often we're like, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have this. I apologize for our feelings, right? And so what is your language? And often, you guys, it's not what we say out loud, but what we say in our head, right? How many of you would say out loud what you say about yourself to your best friend? Like we just kind of talked about that. How many of you would be like, this is how I think about what you look like or what you feel like, right? So I'm going to share a story with you guys that was really, for me, it was kind of transformational about language. Actually, I'm not going to share it yet. I'm going to share it in a minute. Okay. So when we have awareness, right? So we're being aware. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What is my language? What questions am I asking myself? Okay. Because questions can be empowering or disempowering. Okay. So drop me a hashtag empowering. Somebody said yesterday, empowered was one of the words we were talking about that we were working towards. So hashtag empowered, because do we all want to be empowered? We want to feel strong. We want to feel like we can do anything we want to do. Yes, I would say yes. I'm gonna make you all say yes. Yes, you do, right? So disempowering questions, okay? Most of the questions we ask ourselves are disempowering. They come from fear, right? Like, why does my stomach look like this? Why am I so bloated? Why am I so old? Why am I so slow? Why can't I stick to this diet, right? We ask disempowering questions. Okay, I'm gonna give you a crazy thought. If you ask a disempowering question, do you think you're gonna get an empowered answer or a disempowered answer? Disempowered. Thank you, Sherry. I like it. She's right. Of course you're gonna get it. If you ask a disempowering question, the only answer you can get is gonna be one that's disempowering. Like my focus, you guys, was always my stomach. I hated my stomach, right? And I'd be like, oh, why do I have this pooch? Why won't it go? Why won't it be flat? Why won't it whatever, right? Had those thoughts. Well, what do you think's going to happen to my gut if all I ever do is like talk about how bad it is? Is it ever going to look better? Versus like, I could look at it and be like, wow, like, look at how strong I am, right? So when we start asking empowering questions, right? Here's some fun empowering questions. Why am I so strong? Why is this so easy? Why is life so fun? Why is my body so amazing? Right? Different answers to different questions. And we say this all the time inside of our program is that I don't have your answers. Jen doesn't have your answers. You have them. They're inside of you. You're the only one that knows the answers to these questions in your life. Okay? Our job as coaches is to ask you better questions so that you come up with better answers, right? Nobody knows my answers or Jen's answers or your answers, but you do. And you always have, but you gave away your power. You outsourced it to somebody else because you believed that what they thought was more important. You didn't do that consciously, but it happened, okay? So we have awareness and then we have observation. We can't really have awareness without observation, but what you want to do after you start thinking about what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I saying? What's my language? What are my questions? All of that stuff. Okay. We have awareness around it and then we have to observe it. Okay. For a lot of us, you guys, this can be hard because you have a thought and you're like, man, don't say that. And you're like, thought, what are you doing? I'm not supposed to be thinking stuff. Like I'm supposed to be thinking positive thoughts. And now I got this crazy negative thought. Right. And so what we want to do is we want to learn to observe our thoughts, observe our feelings, observe our emotions, right? To see them, like create distance, right? If I am my thought, I can't see it from a bird's eye view. Okay. So I'll share with you guys a story that was a super transformational day in my life. So I had joined my coaching program and part of it was like, I needed to stop counting calories and I needed to stop counting macros and I needed to stop weighing myself and I wanted, but at that point it was a need to do all these things. Okay. And so for the first like week or two, I was like, well, I'm going to just take away the rules and I'm going to call them boundaries, but they were still rules. So finally I had to be like, I'm not doing any of it. I'm not going to count my macros. I'm not going to weigh my food. I'm getting rid of all of the apps. I got rid of my scale and it was shitty. Like it was hard. I was like, but that was my certainty, right? That met my need for certainty. So part of that process for me was literally just like not looking in the mirror as much, right? Like I was just like, well, I'm just not going to focus on it. I'm going to go and I'm going to work on my circles are gone, but I'm going to work on my emotional body. Okay. And I'm going to not care less, but I'm going to pay less attention to my physical body. And I was feeling pretty good. And we were only a couple weeks into my program and we decided to go to the pool. Okay. Who loves to put on a swimsuit? It's your favorite thing ever. You're like, I can't wait. Nobody, we all feel that way, right? Like, oh, right. I have little kids. So we were going to go to the pool and we were going with our kids and some friends, but the friends happened to be the people from the gym that happened to be the really fit people in my mind. And they look great in swimsuits. And so I put on my bikini and I looked in the mirror and I lost it. I was so just like disgusted, really is the best word, with what I look like. And I was like crying, and I had like a total breakdown, right? And I was like, this isn't gonna work because look what's happening in the mirror, right? But what happened after that moment, so my husband came upstairs, and I'm really lucky that he sees a version of me that I wish I could see, right? Like, I'm truly blessed that like he thinks I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. He sees something I don't see. But I started saying out loud to him the things that I had been thinking for 25 years, right? I'm fat, look at my stomach, I can't believe I have cellulite everywhere, I can't leave the house like this, like just word vomit, like true word vomit. And we're standing in our bathroom, and he was like, he just like, I swear, like the blood drained out of his face, and he's staring at me, and he's like, is that really what you've been saying in your head for the last 25 years? And I was like, yeah. And he was like dumbfounded by how terrible that language was and how terrible those thoughts were. And he was like, babe, that's insane. But like him telling me that didn't make me feel better. But I started hearing that language, and I was like, I do sound like a crazy person, right? Like, and not in that, it wasn't about the looks, it was about the thoughts and the feelings, right? So 2 things happened. A, I was aware of what I was actually thinking, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this this is terrible. Like, who would talk like that about themselves? But if you guys made yourself say out loud what you say to yourself in your head, you'd probably stop saying a lot of those things, because you're like, I can't say that out loud, but it's going on in your head all the time. But what happened next was the most important part. So I texted my mentor, and I was like, I know this is coming, but like, I'm in meltdown. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she was like, okay, this is where we learn observation. So I want you guys to imagine, right? There's the sky, and then there's the clouds. Okay. So I want you to know you are the sky. And I have a daughter named Sky, so this always makes me laugh, but you are the sky. Okay. Does the sky ever become the clouds? Doesn't matter how many clouds there are, the sky never becomes the clouds. Right. And so what she said to me was, she's like, I want you to imagine that you're the sky, and the thoughts and the feelings and all of it, they're just clouds. Right. And they're just going to go by. And I talk about this all the time. We literally see them, like we see them float by. Right. And so all these negative thoughts, all these things I was saying to myself, all these feelings, like I just get to watch them go by. They're not me. They're just happening in my sphere, like in my sky. Right. And then later there's happy clouds, and there's like fluffy clouds, and there's these cool clouds. But the thing is, you guys, the sky never becomes the clouds. Okay. So if you can create distance from your thoughts and feelings, you could say, and now I'm just going to use that analogy because I think it's powerful, is like, I could say, I am fat. That's what I was saying. I am fat. Okay. When I say that, I become that cloud. I become that feeling, right? Whereas if I say, I'm having feelings that I look fat, that's a totally different thing, right? That's an identity shift. I'm not fat. I just don't feel so great right now. Does that make sense for you guys? So I want you to imagine, I want you guys to understand that you are the sky. The sky never becomes the clouds, right? And so if we can just see them and watch them with curiosity, okay? Inside of Shift, we teach 6 C's. One of them is curiosity. And I think it's something that we lose as we get older. If you guys have kids or you've been around little kids, what's their favorite word? Who knows? What's a 3-year-old's favorite word? Everybody?
Why?
You guys do it. Why? Yes. Why? Why? Right? But as we get older, we stop asking why, right? So in that place where you're observing, you're like, why do I think that? Why do I feel that? Why was I told that my stomach has to be perfectly flat? Why do I believe this? Why am I thinking this? Just ask yourself why. Okay. So as you start to observe, create distance and ask yourself why. Okay. And then, like I said, the hardest part is trying not to judge it. Trying not to be like, I should not be having those thoughts. I'm supposed to be being positive, darn it. I'm healing. I'm good. So you have to try to not judge it. Okay. So I really want you guys to lean into, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? Have awareness. Then we observe it, right? The other thing you can do if the cloud analogy doesn't work for you is pretend like you're watching your life on a movie screen. Okay. You're the main character and you're watching what happens in your life. Like, what would you say to that woman? Like, how would you feel for her? And I remember she said that to me too. And I was like, man, I feel really bad for her. Like, those are terrible things to be saying out loud, right? But I wasn't, at that point, I couldn't give myself grace. I learned to, and I hope you guys can learn that too, is that like, we don't have to be perfect and we get to have grace and we get to do all of that. But can you watch it from the outside, get out of the bottle, get distance from those thoughts and those feelings. And then again, is this real? Is this true? Is this mine? Okay. So then we learn to not judge it, and then we learn to shift. Okay. Before we go into that piece, I want to do something with you. So one of the other things we coach a lot on is state. Okay. So state is your, like, what state are you in? What mood are you in? Okay. So I want to do something. Well, we can talk about those states too, but no, our physical state. So what I think, again, very many of us, and probably every client and myself, we're very disconnected mind and body, right? We've been told, think about it. What do you think? It's not what do you feel. Feelings are bad, stuff them down, don't cry, don't let anyone see your feel, like don't be in your emotions, right? So we learn to be really disconnected. So when we have a feeling, it creates a thought, but we're not aware of it. And we have a thought and it creates a feeling, but we're not aware of it. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is we're going to do a little exercise. And unless you're driving, I want you to actually close your eyes and do this with me. I'm going to give you guys a hard time. Yesterday, when I said breathe, the first time nobody took a breath. You guys are like, oh, wait, breathe. Okay. Side note, 99% of us breathe incorrectly. How silly is that? Right. So do me a favor. For those of you that I can see on camera, I want to do this with you. So I'm going to look over here so I can see you. So do me a favor, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take one more. Okay. It actually wasn't terrible. So for most of us, when I say deep, take a deep breath, right? Shake it out, Leslie, shake it out. We do this. When my shoulders are shrugged, do I look relaxed? Right? So we have to breathe through our bellies. So guys, I'm a breathwork facilitator. And when I started doing breathwork, I had the hardest time because yet again, I hated my stomach my whole life. So what did I do? I sucked it in like for a long time. So to belly breathe, you have to let your belly exhale. And I was like I had such a physical mental block to breathing out, to actually taking a diaphragmatic breath because I couldn't, like, for however many years, like I sucked in my stomach, right? So what I want you guys to do is think about trying to breathe through your belly and then through your chest. We're going to breathe through our mouth. Okay. Actually, we're going to do some through our nose and some through our mouth. Okay. So I just want you to close your eyes. No one's watching you. I'll close my eyes too. Okay. So put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And just take a breath through your nose. We're going to go 4 counts in. So breathe in. Hold at the top for 4, 3, 2, exhale through your mouth. Okay, on this next breath, you guys, when you exhale, make a sound through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose, breathe in. Hold. Exhale. Okay, breathe in. Hold. Exhale. All right, guys, so I want you to keep that pace. So just long and slow breaths. But as you breathe in, I want you to create some awareness in your body. Just notice in your body, do you have tension? And then exhale. So just keep long, slow breaths. You can be on your own pace. But every time we breathe in, I want you to notice, is there tension? So find one place in your body. Maybe it's your shoulders, your hips, your stomach, your chest. Find one place where you feel tension. And just focus on that place for just a second. Feel into that part of your body. What kind of cues are you getting? How do you feel? You can notice the thoughts because they're happening too. And on this next breath, we're going to do 5 breaths. So every time you breathe in, I want you to focus on that area and I want you to send the breath there. So let's say it's in our hips. So as you breathe, see if you can breathe energy into your hips. And then as you exhale, allow that breath, allow that energy to leave your body. So every breath in, you focus on the place, you send the breath there. And with every exhale, the breath takes away the tension. Okay, we're going to do 5. So find that spot, breathe in, exhale, let it go. Breathe in, exhale, breathe in, send the breath to that part of your body, connect to your body, exhale, let it go. Breathe in, all the way in, breathe just into that one place in your body. Amplify that feeling and exhale. One more time, best breath you've taken, breathe in. And exhale. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay. Do we feel more connected to our physical bodies right now or less connected? More? Give me a more. Feel more connected? Do we feel how breath can be energy? Do we feel how just stopping and being present can shift that? Okay, so this is the coolest part is when we stop, when we slow down and we just take some breaths and we ask our body, how do you feel? What do you need right now? Right? And we start to be aware, like, okay, I've got tension in my hips. Why? My lower back hurts. Why?
If you would just have told me that, I think you were crazy.
I love it. I love it.
Made you sleepy. It makes me sleepy too. I'm like, I'm not thinking about 20 million things at once.
Right? We were present. Right? So I want you guys to think about this. So as we create awareness, this was my big shift, and I'm not going to make you take this, but for most of the people we work with, part of this vision is to love your body. Right? Do you guys want to love your body? Yeah. Okay. How many of you would love to and have no idea how? Like no idea. That was me. When I started my program, I was like, it'd be great to love my body, but I have no idea how. Right? And so what I realized was that intention was really powerful. Okay. So if I said part of my vision is to love my body, well, if I love my body, how would I show up? Right? So if I act, remember, vision is somewhere we come from, not somewhere we're trying to go. If I love my body, what would I do? Right? But most of us, at least I did, I was like, everything I did in my life was to not hate my body. It's a very different energy. I'm doing things, I'm dieting, I'm working out, I'm doing the things to not hate my body. Does that have a very different energy of, well, if I love my body, what would I do?
Let me go back to before, right? Because you know, right? So
yeah,
my body's amazing. Yeah.
Come on in, Jen.
There you go. So we take back the same bit bar, right? We used it the opposite way, I guess, thoughts regarding diet industry and disempowerment thoughts, right? Yeah. But if we take bit bar and we do the opposite with it, so my belief is my body is amazing. By the way, if y'all have carried a kiddo, think about that. Your body created life.
And all the working parts
and all of it. And I did not biologically have my own kiddos, so I can't even imagine. Okay. With that being said, like our bodies are so amazing. So my body is amazing. So a thought that goes with my body is amazing is, let's see, I can do all the things, right? I can do all the things. And if I can do all the things, then I'm like, heck yeah, I'm confident. Let's go on this new adventure. Let's go conquer life. I feel empowered, have joy. My feelings are those of empowerment, right?
They're all up here, right?
Yeah. So then my action, I don't know, for me, when I started to rediscover this, I was like, let's try something new. Maybe I can go work out. Maybe I can go sign up for that 5K. Maybe I can ask for that job promotion. Maybe I can have a difficult conversation with one I've been avoiding for a while. And my result, honestly, y'all, like the craziest thing for me is when this is all aligned, you are so darn successful. The chances of you conquering whatever the heck it is that you had planned in your way, whether it's personal, professional, whether it's anything like that, they skyrocket. They skyrocket. And so the more we have this amazing result here, do you think we feel more confident or less confident? Feel more confident. So then again, we're building more motivation and we're building more momentum. And then you're like, well, okay, let's try another belief. My body is crazy. Okay, I deserve worth. Maybe it's a job. I deserve to be paid more money. I was in HR for 14 years. If anybody wants to negotiate a salary, talk to me. I can help you.
For real.
Okay, I deserve more at work. So my thought is, and yeah, I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna go into manager's office. I'm going to make that time on my schedule, and I'm gonna ask them to meet with me. My feeling is like, I got this. Listen, I've been doing this work for like the last 3 years, and I have this amazing portfolio. So you ask for it, and then you get the raise. And the reason I bring up that example is because we've had clients do just that. It's not just about physically what you're gonna feel like, it's gonna come, but it's all the other stuff that it's gonna affect your life when you have that confidence to ask for it because you are worthy. Does that make sense?
We had a client that I was working with one-on-one after she did shift. And literally our first conversation, and we'll joke, you guys, either you'll leave your job or you'll leave your relationship if you work with us. It doesn't always happen. But she was like, I hate my job. I don't like these people, all these other underlying things. And I was like, do you need to stay there? And she goes, I don't know, probably not. By the next week, she had started looking for jobs, right? I gave her homework. I was like, go see what else is out there. She started looking for jobs. She found a headhunter that was going to help her find the job. And then she landed the job. Within 4 weeks, she had $30,000 more a year.
She asked for it.
She looked at the inside and she was like, well, what is my belief? Like her belief was I have to stay in this shitty job because I have decent hours and that's the only thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Right. So, and as soon as she changed that, like $30,000 more in 4 weeks, I'd sign up for that.
Me too. All of us have something that's keeping us stuck beyond this. When you get out of your own way through the bit for our process through awareness, observation, non-judgment, and shifting, then the sky's the limit. So, do you have anything else I want to share? You want to share? I want to bring Danielle in.
Please bring.
All right, Danielle in the house. Let's see.
Get Danielle. You have to go over there.
No, she can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, Danielle? So
What's up?
y'all, I wanted to introduce Danielle and us. We've known each other since September of last year. So essentially, what is that? About 6-7 months. And so I thought we bring her on here for just a couple minutes. So thank you, Danielle, for making time out of your day today for us.
Of course.
And share a little bit about your story. So, you know, I think one of the first things that you shared with me, and I think it would be okay, was regarding your health condition just a couple of years ago. And then kind of a couple of things that were going on in your life. And then that brought you to taking a step or leaning into what is shift and then going on this journey with us. So do you mind starting us off there? So like, what was going on before shift?
Yeah. So taking it back 6 years ago, I was the healthiest I thought I ever was. I was running half marathons. I was at my healthiest weight. However, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I went through breast cancer. I went through a divorce. I just went through a ton of life changes, shook my world up. Since then, in 6 years, my life just turned upside down. I am now a single mom. I was just in survival mode. I just was trying to stay alive in every single aspect of my life. And so that's where I was before shift. Anyway.
Yeah. How'd you hear about us?
Random. I think the universe sent you guys to me. You just showed up on my Facebook feed and I just kept seeing you a couple of times and I thought, okay, and maybe I need to hear what these people have to say.
Yeah. I knocked on your door and I was like, Danielle, it's me,
Yep.
Jen. What's behind the door? No, but that was awesome. And again, one of the things you talked about, and I think a few of you have felt this through this process, is the fact that we take this personal. This isn't you're making a 1-800 call to a diet support center somewhere and you're going to get a box of what I call is a 4-letter word You are actually talking to a real human who's got your back, who's going to walk up their journey with you. So I think you felt a little bit of that early on, Danielle.
I did. So, and that's one of the things that brought me in more. It wasn't just me seeing you. It was, I reached out to you and then you just engaged, like you felt like a friend to me. I mean, we were talking on a daily basis. It wasn't, I didn't feel like I was getting automated responses from you. I definitely, it felt very personal to me and I appreciated that. It was definitely what I needed, where I could just bring, hey, this is what's going on with me. And I get yeah, exactly, a personal response and a little bit more guided direction.
Yeah. So you went through our program and tell us a little bit about that journey and maybe some of the ahas that you had in the process.
Oh gosh. Okay. So, well, there were a lot. The big one is I was an absolute workaholic because I thought I had to. I was working 6 days a week, 16, 18 hours a day. I wasn't sleeping. I just was literally in survival mode. So since shift, I am now working 10 hours a day. So it's better. It's getting better. But the big thing is that I just made myself a priority. I am working out more. I have turned that into a huge routine. I am at the gym 3 or 4 times. It's helped my mental health.
Danielle tries to compete with me. It's kind of fun. So Danielle's local here in Denver. But I mean, like, coolest part of your story, Danielle, is you did all the internal work and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go work out too. And yeah, I'm gonna bring it. And so I love that energy you bring when we, at Orange Theory, when we work out together.
Yes, I do try to compete with Jen and then I can't walk for 3 days afterwards, but I try.
It's fun.
And I think for me, that was the thing. I kept telling myself that I kept comparing myself where I was now to where I was 6 years ago. And I kept bringing up the weight. I kept bringing up, I'm not even working out, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I had to think back 6 years ago, I was unhappy. Sure, I was at my healthiest physical weight, but mentally I was a mess. And so with shift, I worked on the opposite. I worked on my emotions. I worked on loving myself. I can truly, in 43 years, say I love myself. I love the person that I am. I love my heart. And once I got to that point, then I was like, yeah, let me go work out. And I think by switching it around, that's the shift that I needed very much. So.
Courtney, what did you just say?
I said I had goosebumps, like full body goosebumps, because that's it, you guys, like that's the transformation.
Right. A lot of folks are like, you're just going to hit us with nutrition and movement. Like, honestly, that doesn't come till later in the program, because until you get unstuck here and here, you're just going through the same motions that you just wore, whatever diet, whatever label you want to put on it. So through the shifting process, and Danielle, you're an amazing success story because you did the internal work and then like, yeah, I'm going to go conquer the gym. And then your consistency there is amazing. And so, it's a lot of fun to watch you. Thank you. I guess, and any parting words, anything you'd share with, our workshop attendees today?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me that I try to tell people thinking about something like this is, one, you have to go into things with no expectations. You have to be comfortable to, I don't know if that's the right word, comfortable. You just have to be prepared to step outside of your comfort zone and to look at things a little bit different and to believe in yourself, to know that you're better than where you are right now. And whatever it is that you're desiring, you deserve, and it's out there. And the reason you're not getting it is because, you're just not looking at it the way that I don't know. I guess I still struggle with words, but it's there. It's like, you just sometimes need someone else to open up a different page in the book, if that makes sense.
Right. Ask a different question, right?
Yes.
And I know as a mom of 2 kiddos, one who turned 18 recently, like, for you, yeah, it was just like, okay, I'm also going to invest in me. And that comes with its own set of things, right? The mom guilt, the just like, I don't usually put myself first. And so, through that process, I believe that you did. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but.
It is. And having a daughter who is 18, she's an amazing young woman and she's an adult. And it's probably the best compliment is I did always have that mom guilt, but for my own daughter to say, Mom, not only do you look better, she's like, but I can tell you feel better. She goes, it's so obvious. And to me, that was all that I needed to hear. It's like, I can be a better mom and I can enjoy my kids better.
No, I
because
had goosebumps
I know,
too.
me too,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
myself, and like I will cry because that, like, I was working my life away, and now like to sit and like just cook dinner with my kids and just laugh and enjoy that moment is worth every dime that I've paid for this program. So yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Danielle. It's an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go nail a hike this Saturday, and again, just continue on the journey of the 1% shifts. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining during your workday. And
Yes.
we'll see you soon, my friend.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
So I think what's really cool about what Danielle just said, and I had kind of this similar thing, like I think I talked yesterday about emotional weight. And when you release that and you like step into being happy, people notice. Like they're like, what'd you do different? I'm like, nothing. I'm just happy. Like, so I had this happen to me when I went through
Well,
my
people call it
transformation.
glow sometimes,
Yeah.
right? It's like you show up to the room. I mean, y'all have had these experiences. Somebody walks into a room, maybe it's a medium room, and you're like, whoa, right? Like, let's not go there. And then somebody walks into the room, and you're like, yeah, like this is amazing, right? So when you show up for yourself that way,
Because energy is everything. And so we had a guy, so we own a gym, obviously, and his name is Sam, and he was a member of ours, and then he stopped and he came back for a fundraiser. And he's like, Courtney, what have you done? You just look really good. And I was like, I just did some healing work and I got happy. And he's like, you must have lost weight, you put on muscle, something. And I was like, no. I was like, Sam, I weigh the same, I look the same. I'm just actually happy, and I let go of a bunch of shit and I did some healing. And he was like,
did you curse?
probably.
Okay.
I cut the line, guys. I'm sorry. But like literally, like he was arguing with me. I was like, my physical body had not changed, but I let go of all of that junk and I was open and happy and like really happy. So it's cool when people, like when your kids can see it, when they notice.
Right.
We have another client who I think she's going to join us tomorrow, but she's like, my kids know that I yell at them less, that I'm happier, that I'm more present, right? That's the stuff that matters. And when we're always thinking about dieting, like I literally look back at you guys and I'm like, how did I get anything done in my life? Because I was counting calories, I was worried about things, I was doing all the things. Right. And so when we become present, people notice.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, you stop living like this and you live like this.
Right.
And you're like, people notice that. So cool. I'm gonna just take you back to this really quickly. So again, talking about Bitfar, I actually just came up with this yesterday or this morning. The diet keeps you at the bar. What the heck does that mean, Jen? Okay, so here's the deal, y'all. In the diet culture, we don't address these things because if you don't see them, we don't feel them, which is completely false. And so in the diet culture, typically what we do is we have this belief that is not serving us. I am fat, I dislike my body, whatever it may be. And so we're like, we're gonna do this thing and we're gonna call it a diet. And the diet, put a name on it, right? Weight Watchers, Noom, so many others out there, okay? Grapefruit, lemonade, ice, whatever it might be. And then our result is inconsistent. Which essentially creates this belief again of I failed, I'm miserable, I'm not worth it, all these kinds of things. So the diet keeps you at the bar, B-A-R, because it does not address these two things. So that's how we're different at Shift. We talk about the thoughts and the feelings so that this is all an empowering journey that gives you sustainable results. Does that make sense? Okay. So that is essentially, anything else to add on day 2, Courtney? Okay. So here's one thing, and you heard about this earlier today. The reason why I started and co-founded Shift with Courtney, and now we have a team, is because I am personally, I'm just going to speak about myself here, on a mission to make sure that there's not one other woman in this world who feels alone in the defeat of the diet industry. I was a victim for almost 30 years, and it is pointless and just beats us down. And so while I do have a very packed schedule over the next few days, because I feel that this is the right thing to do, and Courtney and I talked about it, we're going to extend a breakthrough call to you. because these last 2 days have been magical, but there's nothing more amazing than being able to also take a personal approach with us. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up a breakthrough call that we're going to gift everyone who redeems it, but it needs to be in the next 3 days. So between tomorrow, Friday, and Monday. And if you want to spend 15, I think it's 20 minutes actually with Courtney and I, we're extending that to you, and it'd be an honor to make sure that you can take this, what we talked about in the last 2 days, and directly apply it to your life. Because regardless of what the diet industry might be saying, each and every one of you has a different story, has a different purpose, and has a different way that you're going to get your results. And so I'm going to put that on the screen really quickly. Courtney, if you don't mind.
Jen's the tech person. Okay, you guys. So we would love to chat with you, right? I love that you guys have been here. You've been on camera. We can see you. You're showing reactions. Like, come spend a few minutes with us, because it's amazing what 1 or 2 questions will do for you. Okay, so Jen's gonna put that up there. You can scan it, or there's probably another way, but there is one more thing that I was gonna say, because there's homework and we didn't talk about it. Okay, so tonight, what your homework is this this page that says reflection. Okay, so the question, so that quote is at the top: fear pushes us until vision pulls us. Okay, so come up with a situation that's currently causing stress in your life. Okay, so have one thing, just focus on one thing, right? Have that one thing, then you're going to observe. How does that make you feel? What thoughts does it bring about? How does your physical body respond, and where do you feel it? Okay, so sit there, be present, take some breaths, get that connection and see if you can create that. And then where do you feel it? Okay, and then the last piece is non-judgment. So what must you let go of? What do you get to let go of? Okay. And then the shift is, what's the new state or feeling that you have achieved when you let it go? Or what do you still need to do to try to let it go? Because sometimes that's a little bit harder than we think it might be. Okay. And how has it changed? Okay. If you're not able to totally make that shift, imagine that you had made that shift. What do you think it would feel like? Because your body doesn't actually know the difference between reality and like a story you told yourself in your head, right? That's why those stories are so powerful. Okay. So if you spent more time in this new state, after we did the breathing, if you spent more time in that state, more time present, more time connected, okay, what are some of the things that you could achieve? Okay, where would you get unstuck? So that's your homework for tonight. Feel free to look at Bitbar while you're doing this, right? Like, what are those beliefs? What are those thoughts? And what are those actions that you are taking, or that you want to be taking, or that you have taken? Because you'll be surprised at what you uncover, and you're like, what? That's why? It was that stupid mini skirt in 9th grade. Seriously, right? So spend some time doing it.
Right. Cool. All right. So we will the barcode. Sorry, 1 second.
Yes, we'll post this. Yes.
Yeah, we will post it. And I'm on my phone now, so okay, so I can't scan it yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and post that as well in the group. But can anybody confirm that the barcode does work? I tried it this morning, it worked for me.
Check it. Anyone?
So just confirming, just give me a thumbs up, a heart, like Leslie has multiple times. Okay, and I'm just gonna say one last thing before I let you all go today, because Leslie, you reminded me of it. This is a difference between action and motion. Motion is attending a workshop. Motion's registering for a workshop. Motion is writing things in a workbook. Action is investing time in you. Action is booking this call. Action is redeeming your gift with Courtney and I. So that's the difference. So to go back to the rocking chair, a rocking chair will always be in motion. But regardless of how fast it rocks, it's never going anywhere. So that is the difference, my friends. Again, I'll post a homework. We'll post this, and we'll see you on the other side. And remember, you can do this.
I'm gonna tell you one more story. So
one more story.
Oh,
geez.
So I bet a lot of you are like, that call would be good. And you're like, no, probably not. No, that. I don't think so. I did this, you guys, with my program. So for Hunger for Happiness, the program I did, I booked the call. I had to fill out this long application. I literally almost canceled it like 4 times because I was like, I can't do it. I don't have time. I don't have the money, whatever the stories were. And then I decided to keep the call. And that program was pretty big at the time. And so I was like, you know, the person will call me, whoever this person is, I don't know them. And I had spent all this time stalking my mentor up until that point. And then she called me and I answered and she's like, hey, it's Sam. And I was like, oh my God. Holy. And it was the most incredible hour of my life. And making the decision to have that call that I was really nervous about changed my entire life. We're not scary. So just come talk to us, right? And you're probably all having those, like, I want to, but maybe, I don't know. Just come talk to us. Okay. We just want to help you, serve you, and really be thankful that you've been.
Absolutely. Okay. So just do it in the next couple of days and we'll see you on the other side.
See you tomorrow.
And we have a little bit of a surprise celebration kind of leak tomorrow.
We
So
do.
stay tuned
Okay.
for that.
We'll see you then.
Okay. Bye, my friends. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.